See, a lot of us will have the fun and we'll have that moment of euphoria, and then when we come down from that, we look at our lives and say, this ain't what I want. We had the alcohol, we had this, we had the party, we had the drug, you know what I'm saying? We had the sex, we had all that stuff over and over and over again. Then we come down from the high, the dopamine rush, and we realize this ain't really what I want. I want greater from my life. I want peace from my life. I want to be calm. We're having the uncomfortable conversation.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yo, what up? Gee Bryant here, and I'm back with another YouTube video, man. I'm getting comfortable on this platform. You see me? Getting a little comfortable out here, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the G Code Society. We're on our way to 5K. Shout out to y'all. But if you don't know who I am the owner of the Loft Athletic Club and X28. These are two multi-million-dollar companies I've built along the years. My goal here for YouTube is to help you grow, all right? I want you to reach that God space inside of you. I want you to raise your energy, and I want to help you elevate to the next level. So that's what the GEE code stands for: God, energy, and elevation. So let's get it, all right? So what I want to talk to you today about is discipline. This is hands down one of the most important components that you need to understand in your life. And I'm gonna give you my 7 steps to how you instill foolproof discipline in your life that's gonna help you elevate and take you wherever you wanna go. So you wanna stay for all 7 of these steps, all right? Seriously, because these have changed my life. If you don't know my story, man, I started from nothing, like nothing, you know what I'm saying? A lot of trauma, you know, and I built myself to this person right now. That's a whole nother story where, you know, I own a multi-million-dollar empire. My relationships are great. I'm cleansed inside. My connection with God is right where it needs to be. And I'm just here trying to serve, you know what I'm saying? Trying to help as many people as I can, you know, based on my experiences. So that's what I'm here for. So let's talk about these 7 steps. First, I want you to understand something about discipline. Discipline is going to take you places that motivation can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get motivated, but you got to have discipline if you really want to, you know, barrel through life and grab what's for you. You have to have discipline. Motivation will only get you to like a little rah-rah stage, but the reason why most people don't reach their goals is they don't understand that the missing component of them reaching those goals when that high comes down is discipline. See, discipline allows you to do things long after the feeling that you said you were going to do them has left, because you're disciplined, you're committed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you need. That's what you need to grow, right? Discipline is the intimate relationship that you have with your time. What are you doing when no one's looking? You know what I'm saying? Are you doing the bare minimum? Or are you self-loving yourself to the point where you're going to take yourself to a whole nother level? Are you working on your business? Are you working on your life? Are you reading the books? Are you building yourself up? Are you eating correctly, right? Discipline is what's going to help you do that. And I'm going to show you how, right? Discipline protects your vision. Right? See, a man or woman with no discipline, they're guaranteed to fail because they don't have, their vision is all over the place, right? Because it can be swayed here, and it can be taken here, and it can be taken here. They have no discipline. They can't stay straight and narrow on where they're trying to go. Now, your goals may be different from someone else's goals, but we all got goals. And to reach our goals, we are going to have to understand discipline, right? So let me tell you, the first thing you need to do to make sure that you instill the correct discipline in your life is you need to admit to God that you're off track, and then admit it to yourself. Rule number 1, right? And then you need to ask for guidance to be put back on track, right? Because if you don't admit those things outside, if you don't put that frequency out to let God understand, listen, I'm off track and I've been off track and I need to change, you're not going to receive it in a way where that power, the power of God, is going to be able to understand what you're really trying to do and push you, right? So one of the things I had to do one time in my life when I was younger, my life was up and down. You know what I'm saying? I was blaming everybody. You know what I'm saying? I had, you know, childhood trauma, I had street stuff, I had legal stuff, I had, you know, I was just a lot going on, you know, family issues, and I was just lost, man. I was drinking a lot, I was partying a lot, you know, doing a lot of other stuff that I'm not gonna talk about, you know what I'm saying? And I got to a point where I was blaming everything. But I had to realize that my life was up and down because I was up and down. And I could blame some of those things. I could blame the weather. I could blame the government. I can blame my family. But as soon as I say, yo, it's me, I looked up and I asked God to put me on track, like give me some type of guidance. That's when it all started, right? So rule number 1, admit that you're off track, because once you tell the truth actually ends up setting you free, right? So admit you're off track and ask God to put you back on track, all right? With that, you then have to identify what you really want out of your life, because that's where you're going to instill your discipline. You're going to be able, discipline is very focused and narrow. Discipline doesn't like to be spread thin, right? So discipline becomes like your guiding force, but you can only instill it into something. You have to decide exactly what you want out of your life. And then you put discipline into it, right? Then we're going to talk. These steps are going to be crazy, right? So what do you want for your life? What do you want it to look like? You know what I'm saying? Well, how much money do you want to make? What type of car do you want to drive? What do you want your friends to look like? What do you want your family to look like? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your job to look like? Like, you have to really figure that out. Like, a lot of us are moving willy-nilly, and we getting willy-nilly results, right? So if you don't know what you want, if God doesn't know what you want, the universe doesn't know what you want, how can you instill discipline into anything, right? So you got to be laser focused and decide exactly what you want out of your life. Even if you don't have it all together, put some components together of how you want your life to look, and that's the end of the first step, is deciding how you want your life to look. All right. Second thing you have to do to instill discipline, because we're not putting it in yet, we're not instilling it yet, but we're setting it up. You got to set it up. A lot of people just try to go cold turkey and get discipline. No, I'm gonna show you how you set it up. Then you have to come and feed your mind every single day. Discipline. You have to feed your mind discipline first before you can instill it. So you have to absorb discipline from external sources, right? Because here's the thing. What I did, because I didn't even really know what discipline was, like, I just started listening on YouTube, and I started listening to like speakers and millionaires and people that were, reaching their goals, and I was like, what are they doing? And I came to realize that all of them were kind of saying the same shit, right? So if you need to know what discipline is, or you don't even know what it is, like, listen to this video every single day, and then you're gonna start on your journey. Go find discipline, right? Go see what it looks like. Look it up on YouTube. Watch videos about it, right? So you can really understand what discipline is. Read books. That's what I did first. Before I actually became what I will say a higher level person of discipline, I actually found out what discipline was by feeding my mind it over and over. See, we create our own realities. You see what I'm saying? So if you instill discipline into your mind, you're now going to create that reality externally without you even trying. That's how we work, right? It's just going to become something that you do. What you feed yourself is what you're going to become, right? Because we create our own realities. So what I want you to do is, step number 2 is, I want you to find discipline. Go feel what it looks like. Go see what it looks like. And as you become more familiar with it, you'll start to see different levels of discipline. Oh, this is discipline. This is like, it's a whole lot of discipline. Discipline ain't just reading books. Discipline ain't just, studying. Like, there's all types of discipline, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to be disciplined in some form or fashion to get what they want out of life within their discipline, right? So I know that sounds like a lot, but go find discipline and see what it looks like, right? Before you instill it in your mouth. Feed your mind every single day. All right. Step 3, we're not instilling it yet, but I want to show you what step 3 is. Step 3, this is very, very important. You need to recognize that you've had enough fun and you've had enough pleasure, right? And then you ask yourself one question: until when? All right. That's the question I used to ask myself. You're having all this fun, but is the fun or is the pleasure yielding you the results that you want out of life? Or are you staying stagnant within this cycle of fun and pleasure and then becoming depressed about the outcomes that you're getting in life because you have no discipline, right? See, a lot of us will have the fun and we'll have that moment of euphoria, and then when we come down from that, we look at our lives and say, this ain't what I want. Right? We had the alcohol, we had this, we had the party, we had the drug, you know what I'm saying? We had the sex, we had all that stuff over and over and over again. Then we come down from the high, the dopamine rush, and we realize this ain't really what I want. I want greater from my life. I want peace from my life. I want to be calm. But because I'm undisciplined, the fact that I'm undisciplined makes me seek comfort and pleasure in things that keep me undisciplined. I'm going to say that again. The fact that most people are undisciplined makes them seek comfort and pleasure in things that keep them undisciplined. The only way to break that cycle is to go seek discipline. That's crazy, right? It's crazy how this thing works. So me, myself, I always use myself as a reference because I live this shit. Like I told you, I don't just be reading from books and just going to spit something to you. I was undisciplined, right? I was partying before I, started building my businesses. I was partying, I was building businesses. I was trying to be an entrepreneur. I was, running around. I was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? I was also, a good-hearted person, at the time, but I wasn't getting the result I want, and I was having a lot of fun, so to speak. But I'm gonna tell you something. What you got to understand is, once you start to become disciplined, it actually becomes fun. Because once you start to see results, they become addictive. And then you start to have this glow. When people are like, yo, how are you the way you are? It's discipline. I'm disciplined. Think about it. When you see an athlete or somebody that's very good at what they do, a musician, that comes from hours and hours and hours of practice. And why are those people idolized? Why do people say, like, what is about this person? It's because they're disciplined in that discipline. They may not be disciplined in other areas of their life, but for their craft, people love them because they're disciplined about it. So think about it. Now you need to think about your life as a craft. You had enough fun. You had enough pleasure. You know what I'm saying? True power is having access to something and say, you know what, I don't want it. That's true power. Actual weakness is taking advantage of everything that you can have access to. Because now you live in gluttony. And you're just going over and you're taking everything, you're still in no discipline in yourself, right? So now that you know that you have, had enough fun, now you ask yourself, am I serious about this? Because the only way this is going to work is you're going to ask yourself if you're serious, all right? So, step 4, now this is how we start to really instill discipline. You need to decide your worth and your value. I'm going to tell you why. When you decide what you're worth and your value, you will look at your time totally different. And discipline is going to require your time. Like I said before, discipline is the intimate relationship that you have with your time. So now you need to first redirect those. Now you're going to start redirecting those hours. Because I'm going to tell you how this works. If you right now are in a place where you know you're supposed to be better in life, you know you're supposed to be doing more, the reason why you aren't doing it because you haven't decided that you're worth that. And practically, you can put a time or a dollar amount on your time. So I'm gonna tell you how you break this down. Let's say you make $20 an hour right now, but you feel like, yo, I'm a $50 or $100 an hour person, right? You feel that in your heart, or you feel like I'm a $200 an hour person, I'm a $1,000 an hour person. That's how you need to start thinking about yourself, because it's going to show you how you redirect your time. So now when someone hits you up and they like, yo, I'm trying to do this, it's going to take 3 hours, but you know it's like something that's undisciplined or something that is not going to help you grow, you're going to be like, listen, listen, baby, I'm $300 an hour. I can't do that. Because I gotta put my time into these things that are gonna help me grow. Now, when you start to value yourself, this is the thing. This is for all my people that work a job. When you start valuing yourself at a higher hourly rate, you're not going to get a direct return on it by instilling discipline, by reading books, by working out and things that I need. Like, you're not going to get a transaction for it. You'll see it start to accumulate over time. Right? Because time is now your biggest asset. We just put the dollar amount on it to get you out of the thought of doing some other bullshit that's going to be detrimental to you. It's going to take away from you. So let's put this in reference. Let's say you had 3 hours after work, or 3 hours after you finish doing your business, and somebody wants to go to happy hour. And you know you're trying to start this business, or you know you're trying to get this business off the ground. And you think you're a $300 an hour person, would you put your 3 hours into your business that may not give you a direct return? Or do you want to put 3 hours into the happy hour, right? Spend money, possibly get, some alcohol and, a little bit of fun and a hangover and nothing out of it? Or do you put 3 hours into your business, and that 3 hours, you never know which one of those hours are going to be the hour that makes your business hit $1 million? If you do that over and over again, now imagine you keep doing that over and over again. Or you never know which one of those hours are going to be the hours where your body says, you know what, it's time to go to the next level, and now you got some abs, or now you're eating healthy. You never know if you put those, let's say, men, let's say you start putting 2-3 more hours of discipline, of intimate connection with your spouse, right? You never know which one of those hours are going to keep your relationship going through thick and thin. Or you put those you could put those 3 hours into doing something else that's undisciplined. See, like I said, discipline has many layers. Women, same thing with your relationships, right? So I'm not saying you got to be a robot. I'm not saying you gotta be a stickler. I'm just telling you my way. This is how I got to where I'm at. And I like my results in life. You feel me? A lot of people thought I was crazy when I was disciplined. I was reading books, listening to YouTubes, going to conferences, going to sleep early, stop going out, stop drinking, stop partying, stop smoking, right? Like I had to stop doing all that stuff. And that yielded me this result. So think about that, all right? Step 4.